Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Empressive channel. The wife of the disgraced relationship coach, Derrick Jaxn, recently sat down with Latarius Whitfield on his Dear Future Wifey podcast, and she had a lot to say, and I have a lot to say about this interview. Now, just to refresh your memory, if you don't know the backstory, Derrick Jaxn used to be a very popular relationship coach. He built his platform off of pandering to women, and he would warn women of the signs to look for in men who were no good. Little did a lot of these women know he was talking about himself. He was the no good man that he was warning women about. And also, he was notorious for slamming other men for their actions. Meanwhile, he was doing his wife, Derrick Jaxn, so dirty behind the scenes and just living foul. I mean, he is the ultimate hypocrite. He is the ultimate manipulator. And I do believe he is a narcissist. Now, Derrick Jaxn's infidelity became public when Tasha K exposed him. And I think this is probably the best thing that could have happened, because what it did is remove the veil from a lot of people's eyes. But little did people know, Derrick's wife, Derrick, was actually very aware of all of his affairs. She knew that he was laying it low and spreading it wide and doing it side to side. She knew that this man had tons of women. In fact, he had his own condo separate from their home just so he could cheat on his wife in peace. It was just ridiculous. And Derrick did reveal that Derrick cheated on her with close to 100 women.
Did you ever find out how many women he actually cheated on you with?
And so he made a list of women, so everything that he could recollect, and there was nearly 100 women on there.
He wrote down 100 names.
Yes.
Now, when Derrick revealed this, my jaw completely dropped. I was like, what? He cheated on her with 100 different women? Like, that is very irresponsible and downright disgusting. I mean, he really put Derrick at risk for getting all types of STDs. I don't know. She never said that she caught anything, but the fact that he put her health at risk in that way is just despicable. Now, I did watch both parts of Derrick's interview. It was pretty long, so I had to sit with it for a little while. There was a lot that she revealed about her marriage and her relationship with Derrick, and I like the fact that she was very self-aware. I like the fact that she took accountability, because she knew good and well that she had no business being with Derrick, but she stayed anyway. But there were a lot of red flags that she purposely ignored, and I do feel like she was preyed upon. In fact, she opened up about her story, and she talked about dealing with abandonment issues with her father. She was rejected at an early age from her father, and then she got violated when she was 19 years old. She got violated at a party. So here you have Derrick, who went through something so traumatic, and she didn't tell anybody for years. And the craziest thing about this story is, soon after that happened to her, she met her husband, Derrick Jaxn.
So you met him shortly after your experience?
I did 3 weeks.
3 weeks?
3 weeks. I went straight into that without even acknowledging, dealing with I pretended like it never even happened, and got myself into a relationship unhealed. He's very charming. He's very charming. When you see him, he has a charisma and a presence about him that is just like, it sucks you in. After the tutoring, we were having conversations nearly daily. Like the first 3 days, it felt like I know him for my whole life.
Yeah.
And literally we were on the phone, sleeping on the phone, like those first 3 days, having all kinds of conversations. And it was like, oh my gosh, I've known you all my life. This is a fairy tale. I love you. You know, like, when are we getting married and having kids?
So this revelation right here was very interesting. And Derrick did say that she wasn't exactly turning heads like that. I mean, she was chubby, she had pimples, she was very quiet. So she wasn't out there getting guys' attention. But Derrick saw her and he immediately attached himself to her. And it's almost as if he preyed on her. Even though he wasn't aware that she was a victim, it's almost like he could sense it. So Derrick became easy prey. And I also think that their attachment happened so quickly because they were operating under familiar spirits. And I think Derrick sensed something that he probably himself went through. For all we know, Derrick could have experienced something traumatic in his childhood. And sometimes when people go through negative experiences that are charged by certain spirits, they find themselves quickly attached to each other. And I think Derrick, without even realizing it, found himself attached to Danae because he too probably went through something traumatic in his childhood. So that's how familiar spirits connect. And these connections are very dangerous, and it can manifest itself into some very toxic situations. And the relationship between Danae and Derrick was very, very toxic. I mean, Derrick cheated on Danae constantly throughout their relationship. And Danae was aware of all of the infidelity, all of the women, everything. She knew about the cheating. And she never got a real commitment from Derrick either. They were on and off in their relationship for 9 years before he decided to marry her. So she never was given the proper treatment as a girlfriend. He was cheating on her constantly, and she knew about it. And she never said a word because she was afraid to lose him. And she had so many opportunities to walk away, but because she was such a broken woman, she refused. But if she really paid attention to those red flags, she could have saved herself a lot of heartbreak. I mean, God was literally showing her, girl, this ain't it. Leave. But she would not leave.
Like, I've sat there and watched, literally looked through his phone and watched him have sex with other girls.
On the phone?
On the phone. Like, I literally watched it. And so that was soul crushing, at that time. This is well before we're married, but I've seen it multiple times, multiple girls, several. This is just in college. We're not talking even about marriage.
After that.
There was even a point where they broke up and Derrick moved to Atlanta, and she could have stayed behind in her hometown, but she decided to move to Atlanta as well. And Derrick was able to weave his way into her life again and cause more havoc. In fact, he was juggling her with other women.
Yeah, so before we moved to Atlanta, we were off. We got off because he was dealing with some girls and things like that, and it was a issue. At that time, I had asked him, I was like, do you believe the things that you're saying, right? Because this is at the beginning of his career, really like taking off. And I'm like, do you believe the things that you're saying? And it really caused a rift. And so we were off. Anyway, we were still engaging sexually, even though we were off, right? And so it was in this time where there was a lineup of us. We were passing each other on the stairway in and out.
What?
We were passing each other on the stairway. Like, this is my shift from this time to this time.
That right there is crazy, but sadly, there are a lot of women out there who have been in situations like this. I mean, SZA has a whole song about it. Listen to The Weeknd. But yeah, Danae was being honest, and that's something I commend her for. I commend her honesty. But like I said, there were a lot of red flags that she chose to ignore, and she should have never married Derrick. But she did end up getting pregnant, and the minute she decided that she was tired and she was ready to leave, Derrick decided to propose. So Derrick had such a strong hold on her, he was able to suck her in every single time. And sadly, Danae, being the broken, insecure woman that she was happy to get proposed to. She was actually happy that she was getting married. And things really hit the fan once they got engaged, because while they were in therapy, she revealed that she knew about some of the women he cheated on her with, and she revealed how hurt she was by it. And Derrick was really upset about that. So anytime she called Derrick out on his BS, he would get very angry and she would shut down. And one thing about a narcissist is they don't like to be told about themselves. They're very big on public image, and Derrick was one of those people who cared a lot about his image. He presented himself one way, but he was a totally different way behind the scenes. So when he was called out, he was very offended, and he began to gaslight Danae, and he even accused her of cheating on him. He was doing a lot to deflect from his actions because he didn't like the fact that he was catching so much heat. And Danae knew that, and this is why she didn't really speak up a lot of times when she found out about his infidelity, because she just didn't want to upset him and she didn't want to lose him. Even weeks leading up to their marriage, she found out that he still had communication with one of his other sexual partners, and this was another glaring flag that she ignored.
When something did happen, let's see, that was like a couple weeks before we got married. And I didn't even think we were going to get married because it was such a big blow up. And so he got his hair cut by a girl that he used to have sex with, and she posted a picture on Instagram with hearts. He was standing behind her, and there's hearts surrounding them, and I lost it on him. I lost it. We did not change the date. We still got married 3 weeks later.
When I was watching this interview, I was thinking, Danae had so many chances to escape. She had so many chances to get out. I mean, she could have even left Derrick before she got pregnant. But I think when she got pregnant, it made things a lot more complicated. And I think she felt stuck. And around the time they did get married, she was pregnant with their second child. And so she kind of wanted her family together. And also, I think she wanted to be with Derrick because he was making a lot of money. That's another thing to include. Derrick was providing her a certain lifestyle that was very appealing. So she wasn't going to give that up. At that point, she was now about to have 2 children and she was no longer working. So she kind of needed that financial support. So she wasn't willing to walk away from it. And also, Danae was a pick-me. Let's be real. She wanted to be picked by Derrick, and she was even happy when they finally got married.
I was so excited to be getting married. And again, my mentality at that time is where like, I'm getting married, everything is like my dream wedding.
And I won.
And so everything is falling into place. But no, it wasn't just marital bliss. There was a lot of women that he was still at minimum having conversation with, and that I caught him with. He's literally texting them while we're in the bed. And I'm like, why is this name in there? Why are you still talking to her? I'm coming off of just having a baby, right? Or having our second child. I had severe postpartum actually with both children. So just think of all the trauma that we're unpacking already that never really dealt with. Severe postpartum where I was on medication for like 8-9 months. So all of this stuff is happening. And it was in that time where apparently more of the conversations and transformed into more than conversations. And I didn't find out about it though until, months later.
Derrick really put Danae through a lot, and she didn't have to stay. I mean, she definitely should have left, but at the same time, he didn't have to treat her the way he did. He didn't have to lie to her and cheat on her and manipulate her into thinking that he changed when he didn't. He put her through so much mental turmoil to the point that she was comparing herself to the women he was cheating on her with, and she almost lost her mind and almost lost her life dealing with him. And there was a point in the marriage where she did leave him because he told her to leave and he didn't want her. And so she left and moved. And if she didn't make that move, she said that she would have died.
I was depressed. I was malnourished. Like they had to force feed me. I had been in the hospital. They couldn't figure out what's going on with me. I'm bleeding out of places. They're like, I don't know why you're bleeding like this. There was so much stress and stuff going on with my body at the time. Had I not left at the time that I did, I think I would not be here right now. I became a shell of myself. I didn't know who I was. I actually have a couple posts on my page where I have a post that says, I knew her body better than I knew my own. I knew several other women's bodies better than I knew my own. And I spent a lot of time, I went in such a deep hole where I was studying these women. I would go to their profiles and I would study their pages and what they wear. I knew when they had met up. So I watched their videos of them having sex. So I would try to imitate that and recreate that in our relationships so that he could choose me and want me.
When I heard this, I just felt so bad for Danae because she was in such a broken place. I mean, it's hard to really wrap my mind around the state of mind that she was in because she was so messed up mentally. And it got so bad to the point that she even had issues with how her daughter looked because her daughter resembled Derrick's mistresses.
I had some issues with the complexion of our daughter because that was the type of woman that he would go after. And I'm not dark, super dark skinned woman. And our daughter's a little chocolate little princess. She has it, and I'm just how does she look like the women that he wants?
Wow, that's deep.
I don't understand. It's like they had her even though I carried her.
Woo!
Choose me. What is there about me? Right? Our daughter even has everything that you like search for.
So yeah, Danae was really messed up in the head, y'all. I mean, the fact that she was jealous of her daughter because she had certain features that her husband liked in other women. I mean, that's just a really twisted way of thinking. But that's how far she was gone. I mean, she desperately wanted love and attention and affection from Derrick. And also, she was dealing with a lot of spiritual warfare on top of their marital issues, which is why she was posting a lot of religious videos. A lot of people thought she was crazy and they were making fun of her, but they didn't realize that her family, her children were being spiritually attacked. She described a moment where her daughter was being levitated. I mean, it was some paranormal activity going on in her household, and she was fighting some real battles. And she was dealing with a lot of this behind the scenes on top of Derrick's infidelity. And things really hit the fan when Derrick got exposed publicly and they had to come on camera and address the infidelity. And it was just a lot. Derrick was desperately trying to save his image and brand at that point because it was crumbling and people finally saw the truth about him. And I was really upset when he brought Danae on camera. I actually remember when they made this video. I was really upset that he brought her on there because he just exposed her to a whole bunch of ridicule. He never once showed his wife before, but the minute he started catching heat, that's when he decided to bring her out there to face the brunt of the backlash with him. And I did find out that Danae chose to be on camera with him because she felt like at that point he was trying to make a change. And so she wanted to support him in that moment. But she should have known that that wasn't going to last. He was going to go back to cheating on her eventually once the controversy died down. And that's exactly what he did. Now, it was very interesting to me that after everything they went through, Derrick was the one who filed for divorce. He was the one who initiated it. He texted her and said that he's leaving her. And I would have thought that Danae would have been the one to file for divorce. I mean, she had every right to, and she should have been the one to file first, but she didn't. And that let me know that she was willing to stay in the marriage for as long as she could. But Derrick got tired and he left. And I really think this was a sign from God because God was trying to get Danae to see the light and move on and get out of the relationship, but she wouldn't leave. So eventually he had to move Derrick out of the picture so Danae could finally get her life back. And I like the fact that she is being open and honest about her situation and using her experience to help other people. So she has turned her mess into a message, but she really needs to get some more healing. I definitely see that she could use more healing from watching this interview. I was actually disappointed to learn that she's charging women thousands and thousands of dollars for her healing courses. I actually saw this on It's On Site and I was really turned off by that because I was just like, really? Like, Danae, you're still going through your divorce now. You're still technically married to Derrick. You're just now coming into your own and really finding your voice and really getting healing. I just don't think it's really the right timing for her to start coaching other women. I definitely think she needs to take some time to really heal first, for real, because what she went through was very traumatic and that could take a lot of time to work through. So I don't think the timing is right. And it is a bit of a turnoff that she's charging people thousands of dollars for healing courses online. The optics of it is bad because it comes off as a cash grab. And I understand that she's trying to profit off of her pain and she has a family to take care of and she does want to maintain the lifestyle that she had. So I kind of understand that, but still, this is not the best look. Like I said, she's going to have to take some time to get some more healing first. And also, I think she should make her prices more reasonable. I do think her story is important and she can help a lot of people, but it has to be done in the correct way. I'm still glad that she was able to get her story out there. And I don't know how Derrick is going to feel about this interview. I don't know how he's taking it, but I know that he's fuming because one thing he hates is to be exposed. But he really needed to be exposed. People need to be warned about him. Women need to be warned about him. And he honestly needs to be warned about himself. He needs to finally look at himself in the mirror and really make a change, because if he continues down the path that he's on, it will just lead to more destruction. Anyway, tell me what you all think about this video down below. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and share this video if you care. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.